Valentine's Day is coming and the clock is ticking. We're down to 7 days. And if you're sitting there going, I have no idea what I'm going to do for my husband, I got you covered. There's so much expectation, right? We expect so much from the man in our lives. I want him to do this. I want him to take me there. I want him to spend this kind of money. I want him to do whatever. And sometimes we forget that there's something we can do for them. So that's what I'm talking about today. And we're going to talk about your best Valentine's Day gift for your husband based on what his love language is. So we're going to start with my favorite, number one. If your husband's love language is physical touch, this is what I would recommend. I'd done this several years ago and my husband loved it. I went to a Victoria's Secret and I picked out a little giddy up, a little halfway see-through thing, that covers enough but shows enough, whatever. And I gifted it to him and we had some fun together wearing that. You can make the rule going forward when you would want, here's where this lives, where you would want me to put this on again, or the next time that we're having fun times together in the bedroom or elsewhere, this is what you could wear and be all cute. You can find something online, obviously. Yes, you're going to buy it for you. Can you even buy stuff for men? I don't even know, actually. I should probably check. Anyway, you're going to buy something for you to wear that then we're going to gift to him. So you're going to wrap it up, give him a gift, or you don't even need to wrap it up. You can actually just put it on and wear it and have fun with that. So that's gift idea number one. Number two, if your husband's love language is words of affirmation, here's what I would do. We have 7 days. So I said the time is ticking, but you have 7 days to do this. Take each day and write a separate note or a card or an email or a text message. But I want it to be obviously meaningful. But I want it to be what you're noticing him doing. It needs to be specific. It needs to be from the heart. I want you to look at every day and see what are the ways, right? The question I would ask myself is, what are the ways that I'm seeing you rocking at life? What are the ways that inspire me to live a better life of mine? What are the ways that you are showing up in the family, that you're showing up at your job, that you're being a leader there, that you're being a leader in our family, that you're encouraging our children or encouraging me in ways that I don't do because that's not my strong suit. What do you see him doing? What do you see him saying? How do you see him behaving? How is he showing up for his friends? How is he loving you? How is he paying attention to the things that matter to you and to your family? What am I noticing? In what ways have you grown? How do I see you loving me well? Ask yourself that question or that series of questions every day between right now and Valentine's Day. And then it's up to you if you decide to give it to him the day of, right? At the end of that day, as you just sort of reflect on the day before, or you can, right, reflect, take the day, and in the morning, you leave it on his computer one day and you leave it on his car seat another day and you leave it in his work bag if he's going to work, have it delivered to his office another day or whatever it may be. The last one on Saturday, no, not Saturday, Friday. Valentine's Day is on Friday. You would deliver it. Or if you're celebrating on Saturday, like my husband and I are going to, you're going to deliver it then on Saturday to him in person. You're going to deliver it on that day and go from there. That's if your husband's love language is words of affirmation. On to the next one. If your husband's love language is quality time, here's what I would recommend that you do. And I've done this one another year also in our marriage, and it worked beautifully. My husband and I have been married now 18 years, together for 20. So if your husband's love language is quality time, here's what you can do. Take the next 3 days or 3 weeks and spread it out, however you would like to do this. But find and make it a point to show up. One time, maybe you show up with lunch at his office. One time, you make dinner at home and you make sure that the kids are out somewhere at the neighbors on purpose so that you two get some quality time together uninterrupted in a way that you haven't been able to get in a long time. One time, maybe you have something delivered to his place of work. Maybe you get up a little bit earlier in the morning than you normally do because he leaves so dang early. I don't know if that's anybody else or just my hubby, but you wake up and you have eggs and coffee together before he takes off for work. But look at the next 3 days or 3 weeks and find different points in time, plan for it, put it on the calendar. And he doesn't need to know how long this is going to take, but so that and that way you can spread the love over more than just Valentine's Day. And on actual Valentine's Day, come up with 5 activities that you've both historically liked and enjoyed doing together, and let him pick out of a little bowl, or let him decide based off of what sounds the best. And then you go from there to plan that evening or Saturday day or Sunday, or make it into a weekend. Sky's the limit. This is that would be my recommendation. If your husband's love language is quality time. Next up, if your husband's love language is gifts, people whose love language is gifts don't just want things for the sake of having things. They want gifts that you've put some thought and some effort behind. They want proof that you know them, that you know what they like, that you know what they would prefer. If there's a low level of something that they get for themselves, maybe you up that a notch or two because it's Valentine's Day. Now, this Valentine's Day advice will require you to use what you know of your husband, because I don't know your husband, right? You know him, you know what he wants, you know what he prefers. When I say don't just get things for getting things sake, I mean don't get him a Starbucks gift card if he prefers going to a particular coffee shop where they make the coffee in a particular way, and or he makes his coffee at home and he loves it the most that way. Now, if your husband stops by Starbucks, or that's his treat on the way home, or on the way to work, and you getting a Starbucks gift card would just make his face light up, get all the gift cards that you can. I have 2, and I've been told I'm a really good gift giver. I pay attention to things, I pay attention to what people say, and we only have 7 days, so this is going to require a little bit of finagling on your part. If you haven't been doing this work, meaning collecting evidence or collecting notes in the last month or 2 or year or 2, or haven't been paying attention at all since you 2 got married. We have 7 days, so we're okay. Most of the Amazon delivers will still make it on time for you to gift your gift to your husband on time on Valentine's Day. Here's what my 2 tricks are. 1, if you're in a bind, think back over the years. What was one of the gifts? What was the top 3 gifts that you had given to your husband that just made his face light up? What was it that you saw him go nuts about when he saw and unwrapped that particular gift? Write a list of those and see if you can either upgrade one of those things, or if you can get something to accompany that gift, even for Christmas. Like if you'd gotten him something and he really loved it, is there something that would work really well in addition to having that thing to what you just got, right? So if you got him the grill for Christmas that he's always wanted, is there a fancy kind of utensil that he wouldn't otherwise buy? He's like, oh, that's, it's too much money, or it's too whatever. Is there a utensil that he talked himself out of, but one that that he would love, and get that utensil? Do you see what I'm saying? So that's 1. Think back in the past. What evidence can you think of? And then go from there. My other thing that I love to do, and I like to do this with birthdays, with Christmas, with Valentine's Day, where you spread the love, right? Where I don't just get one thing, but it's going to be one thing that he's going to keep getting over and over and over, and will be reminded every time that he gets the thing. So it may be a subscription to something. One of the things that my husband, gifts are not his love language, but one of the things he loves to do in February of all months, right? Because it's February. It started with a couple, 3 friends, and now I think it's like a dozen, 2 dozen men or friends that do this. But they have a friend who is in charge, and they get these beer samples or whatever, right? So each beer can is a different beer, and for the month of February, they have a beer every day. It's a completely different beer from the day before and to the next day. They score it. I mean, it's a whole system. It's this whole like elaborate scheme. But he loves this because it connects him to the friends. They have this ongoing banter back and forth all month long. Hey, what do we think about this? Who, this was my favorite. Why? Blah, blah, blah. Is there something like that you can get a subscription box around, and you spread the love? He'll get the first thing in February, and then he's going to get something else in March. He's going to get something else in April. He's going to get something else in May, and so on. And you can spread it over 3 months, you can spread it over 6 months, attach a little note with each one of them. Because what I said to you on Valentine's Day still rings true today. Love you. XOXO wifey, or however you sign your cards. All right, on to the next one. If your husband's love language is acts of service, I have 2 ideas for you. One, you would plan what I would call a day off surprise for him. And you would take all the things that he would have otherwise needed to do. You would handle the responsibility. You would handle the chore. You would handle the things. And whether it's the things that he does and he doesn't hate doing, or if you know that there's some that he takes care of, but he's like, oh, that's not my favorite, right? You can take that off his plate and be like, you know what, for today, go. Like I got all this stuff covered. You don't have to worry about it. And you go and you have a day off. If you want to go play pickleball, if you want to go hang out with friends across town because you haven't seen them in a long time, you go do that. And especially if there's something that he has to do on a continuous basis, right? Like if he's making his own lunches every day, or if he hates going through the car wash. The other one would be, and this is if he loves food, and most men do, right? Let's be honest. You could come up with a menu for the night. You make it at home, you make it from scratch, you make it an event. You can also expand the surprise to the day before or the morning of, where you take care of 5 of those things that he might not love doing, or you surprise him with a clean house, or you surprise him with the Christmas tree being taken down in February. You know, because some of us do that too. And he comes home and he's delighted to see all that's been taken care of and taken down and cleaned up. A clean space will automatically provide some peace and some comfort. So, right, however you can combine those things. And if you don't have your Christmas tree up, you know, just find something else that would be equally delightful for your hubby. There you go. 5 amazing ideas for your husband, depending on what his love language is. Now, for those of you that are like, I don't even know what my husband's love language is, how would I even go about figuring all this out? Here's the tip that I promised. What you're going to do, take all 5, you're going to do all 5, and at the end of it, you're going to ask him to review or to rate on a scale of 1 to 5, rate each one of these gifts that I gave you. Gifts, right? Which all the things that, as I just talked about them. And at the end of it, he's going to take a look. He's going to think about how meaningful that was, how loved he was feeling. And you're going to go from there. And you're always going to know what it is that, like, how you love him better that makes him feel loved. You may decide to do them to a lesser degree, right? Instead of 7 letters, if for words of affirmations, you may do 3. For his gift, you're going to find something smaller. So you can do that. That's also fine to do. But that's what you would do. And remember, we're doing all of this so that you get better at loving him the way that he loves to be loved. Now, I'm curious. I want to hear from you. What is your husband's love language? And which one of these gifts did you pick? Or is there a Valentine's Day gift that you remember from the past that was just like the bomb that you would want to share with other people so that they can benefit from that? Because in the end, all of us crazy married folk, bottom line, we want to get it as close to right as possible so that we know how to love our husbands the way that they love to be loved. Happy Valentine's Day.